Welcome back to Cinema Flicks and Music Picks. I'm your host with the most, the beast with the least, David. The least we can do today is continue with Box Set Wednesdays. Still a rubbish title, but Wednesday doesn't go with much, does it? And as I mentioned in the update video yesterday, plans had to be, scrapped because I was going to do something that may interest some people, but we can't have that on this channel. So instead, Jonathan decided to catch COVID. Good old Jonathan Timberlake. In the comments, stick an F you, Jonathan, for ruining my week. I never thinks of me when he catches COVID. And I decided, well, it was Johnny's birthday yesterday, which is why we were going to have a catch up in the first place. So I will scrap my plans, my exciting plans that were going to perhaps change your life, who knows, and we're going to do a video that Jonathan would like. It's so nice that way. I got him presents and everything. Oh, I've got the Rona. Anyway, so we're going to talk about, of course, the King of the Monsters. Gamera. Sorry, Godzilla. Gamera, the complete collection, now long out of print from Arrow, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And here's your backing sheet, but we'll show that in a minute too. This contains 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 films. So it is indeed the complete collection of Gamera. So it's the Heisei era and the Doi era, with the one weird one added on at the end, which technically is part of the Heisei era, but doesn't come in the standalone box that they've now released for Heisei. So, if I do forget to mention it, you now can't get this unless you want to pay scalpers prices, but 11 of the films, basically the 60s Gamera and then the 90s Gameras, are now in 2 box sets from Arrow affordably. The only one missing is 2006's Gamera the Brave, which is a reboot again, so it isn't in continuity with anything else here anyways, and it's not the best one. But we'll have a look anyway, shall we? So Gamera, 1965 was your first Gamera from Dai Studios, and of course it was a total creation to capitalise on Godzilla. But what people kind of miss, and this is the Criterion Godzilla box set of the Showa era, you know that, come on, everybody knows that. What people kind of miss is that, yeah, it is a rip-off in concept of Godzilla, but it's 10 years after the first Godzilla. So what it's really doing is ripping off Godzilla when it became family-friendly fun entertainment later in the 60s. So not in the 50s with the nuclear stuff and scientists looking worried and children literally praying for their lives in a church. That first Godzilla movie is pretty dark. So we're well into the era in Godzilla territory over at the other company, Toho, where Godzilla is now family friendly. He's not, killing people and going on rampages. Any buggers that he knocks down are now entirely empty. He's taking on monsters to save us all. So by this point, we're in Godzilla versus Mothra territory, or Mothra versus Godzilla. And we're in the first Ghidorah movie was out in 1964. So we're in very much Godzilla, the protector, the defender, that kind of stuff. And that led Dai to create Gamera. And the origins, in the book in this, they go into a few of the ideas. Nobody really wants to admit it, but it's very much suggested that it comes from, rather than Japanese mythology, old Chinese mythology with these kind of 4 symbols. One of whom was a turtle, an ancient turtle. And the box here is even turtle shell. It's lovely, isn't it? It's Gamera's shell. Now the art throughout this set is by Matt Franks, and wow, Matt did a great job. That is just. And I remember when Arrow announced this, and it just had a kind of coming soon artwork thing. It didn't have this. Wow, when they unveiled it. So I'll read you just the top bit of this because you don't want to read the whole bloody lot. The original Hero and a Half shell, I can do without that, returns for the first time ever worldwide. All 12 tales of the adventures of everyone's favourite Titanic terrapin, like the alliteration, are collected together in one deluxe Blu-ray box set. This limited edition collector's set, and they weren't lying, this sold out super fast, set traces the decades-long evolution of Gamera, from the friend of all children, his more light-hearted earlier films, to the guardian of the universe and the groundbreaking 1990s reboot series, often hailed as 3 of the best kaiju films ever made. Ain't lying. Just sit up there, that's fine. Thank you. So, let's have a wee look, shall we? First off, why is Gamera particularly interesting? Well, as mentioned there, yeah, he is friend of the children, protector of the universe. So you think, yeah, I've kind of seen that with Godzilla. But what makes Gamera more interesting to me is that he was created to be that, so it's in there from the inception. It doesn't feel awkward when you watch it in the marathon that, wait a minute, why are they not angry that he killed everybody in Tokyo last time round? When you get to the 90s movies, the Heisei Gamera, there is more destruction, but it's collateral damage, so it's more of a realistic take, if you will. It's as realistic as giant flying turtles can get, really. But the 1960s Godzilla went a bit too far, too fast into the child-friendly realm. I think this kind of gets the tone right, and it kind of embraces the silliness. It kind of knows what it is. So it says, right, we're going to have some fun action, we're going to have some silly stuff, we're going to make it family friendly, but we're going to throw in enough kind of knowing humour for the whole family, which I don't think the Godzilla folks over at Toho ever did. Honda, the genius who created the first Godzilla, stayed on for some of the later films, and you can see what you like about Shin Honda, but comedy, family friendly, not really his kind of thing. So Gamera very much came from that, even though this looked kind of terrifying. So let's crack into it and have a look first of all. So you get, now unfortunately you lose this if you don't get the big deluxe set, but still the comics collection in hardback book, which contains the 4-issue miniseries of Gamera the Invincible, I believe it's called, or the Guardian of the Universe, excuse me, the Guardian of the Universe, and then the Last Hope, which is a prequel to Gamera, and how Gamera is reawakened. So yeah, they're all by. So the 4 are by Dave Chips, Mozart Kauto, and Mike Sellers, and then the Last Hope is by Matt Frank, Josh Hebagosh, and Gonzalo Lopez. Matt Frank does an introduction, been all over the set, and a massive Gamera fan. So Matt does all the artwork for this early stuff here, the prequel. And some people say, oh, it's in black and white though. So was the first Gamera film, that's the whole point. It's a prequel to a black and white movie, what do you expect? So yeah, you get a whole issue of that. And then just to pick random pages here, you can go into the miniseries. Yeah, ooh, chaos. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh, there's a cover by the looks of it, so yeah. I mean, just fantastic stuff. Fantastic. These had been released in Japan. So the last Hope had been released in Japan, but never translated. So this was quite a big deal just to get it for Gamera collectors as well, without having to get your iPhone out and use the translator app. So yeah, cool stuff indeed. Yeah, so big old hardback comic that. 5 issues of Gamera goodness. And then the booklet itself, now again, with Arrow, when they do go all out, I don't think you can call this a booklet, can you? And look at this, again, Matt doing the artwork. Let's see, so we've got a history of Gamera, so it goes through all the films, an interview with Noriaki Yuasa, Kaiju X-rays, inside the Heisei Trilogy, and a guide to English language Gamera. So here's your OG Gamera. So Gamera, like Godzilla, was taken to America and dubbed. In fact, there it is there, and re-edited quite poorly, which led to a lot of people kind of mocking it. Mystery Science Theatre did their, parodies and whatnot, because the dubs make it. If you get a badly dubbed, poor transfer, look at that. That's one of those badass movies there. That is, yeah. Gamera on the Moon versus a blade monster. Yeah. But when you get a badly dubbed, poor transfer, then yeah, you're in for a bad time. I'm sure anybody in Britain remembers when we used to get the like the John Woo movies and things, and the Chow Yun-fat movies from the late 80s, even Jackie Chan, and they'd be dubbed into Cockney. So you'd see Jackie Chan or you'd see Chow Yun-fat, but you'd be hearing, "Oh mate, how's it going? You having a laugh? I'm gonna go down to Tokyo, take care of business." You think, who the fucking Danny Dyer and Jelly? So there were the X-rays of the kaiju, which again might seem a bit dull to some, but a lot of thought went into these because Gamera himself can swallow fire. So unlike Godzilla, who's got his fire breath, his atomic breath, Gamera can absorb fire. That also helps him propel when he flies. Yeah. So, there's a reason for everything. But yeah, plenty here. And one, I mentioned the dubs there, which was going into in this section with James Flowers. Yeah. This has got some amazing things, some wonderful fun treats for the dubs. And then, your credits and whatnot there. James Flowers, by the way, is pretty much the man who put this whole set together. He's kind of the king of kaiju for Arrow when it came to that. So, thank you, James. What's fascinating is that unlike this, and I don't blame Criterion, Toho would only allow them access to certain things. So they had to take just subtitles, no dubs. They had to take off-the-shelf masters. They weren't allowed access to the new 4Ks, even though they're already out in Japan. So some of these actually look worse than the Japanese Bluray you could already buy, which is incredible. But you had to get it anyway because there's loads of films in this that weren't available. And they weren't allowed to create, they wanted to do all sorts of new extras for this, and were once more told, no, you can't do it. So Criterion did take a bit of flack for it. I think unfairly, because it was that or nothing, so I'll take that over nothing. Whereas Arrow didn't have those restraints. They were allowed to put together the definitive package. And I think personally it's actually done Gamera a lot of good. It's kind of brought Gamera's reputation up, which probably kind of needed, especially with the modern Godzilla movies. The Monsterverse from Legendary, isn't it, who make those movies? So yeah, Gamera probably needed a little leg up, just to keep his cred going. But let's have a look at some of the movies then. So this is your actual like movie case, where they're all stored. So yeah, I'll just show you that while we go here. But as I was saying about the dubs, and even the disc art is all brand new in black and white and things for the black and white movie. It's fantastically thought out. The dubs, there he is, my friend. The dubs include what's called the redneck version, where you get, just like I was saying, Cockney versions. So you're watching the Japanese Gamera movie, but you're hearing like, "God damn right, I'm gonna take care of that turtle." You get the, I think you do get a Cockney version in some of these as well. Yeah, absolutely insane. So you basically get everything that's available dub-wise. You get the English with subtitles. You get the Japanese with subtitles, which is is the best way to watch it, because at least you're getting the original version. And the subtitles were redone for this because Mill Creek's were. You get the English dubs with normal voices, respectable voices, good character actor voices, professionals. You get the redneck dubs, you get the Cockney dubs, you get George W. Bush dubs, Bill Clinton dubs. I did not have sex with that turtle. And at the back here, you get, I find it a bit tight. Say no more. You get 2 sets of cards, because it wouldn't be a deluxe set without either a poster or cards. So you get Gamera, the giant monster, Gamera the brave, Gamera versus Giga, Revenge Virus, Gamera versus Virus, and Gamera 2, Attack of Legion. Yeah, the 90s trilogy. If you can only see some Gamera, then see the 90s trilogy, because that hype on the back where it said the 90s stuff is considered some of the best kaiju action ever made. Unlike Public Enemy, this time you can believe the hype, because it just is. Godzilla was making a big comeback in the 90s with the Millennium films and things. But those films they kept doing the same thing over and over again, and they couldn't decide whether or not Godzilla was a good guy or a bad guy. Whereas in this, they did a straight trilogy, which ties one into the next and got out. Start to finish, they made a set trilogy and said, we're done. That's the story. And it reaches a satisfying conclusion, which I can't say for the Millennium Godzillas. So here's Guardian of the Universe versus Gaius, the original. This is Barugon versus Guron versus Zigra and Gamera Super Monster, which is you'll notice very Star Destroyer like. This is essentially a greatest hits film. I'm glad they included it, but look at that, it's just a Star Destroyer. They needed one more Gamera film just to make a quick buck, so they just did a, hey, remember when Gamera did this? And they just did a kind of compilation of Gamera's greatest hits and flashbacks and whatnot, and with like 10 minutes of new action. It was very much the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 of kaiju movies. There's a reference for you. And then hidden away in here is one last wee extra, because hidden extras are always good, aren't they? I like them. There's a great one in the Lone Wolf and Cub set from Criterion, if anyone's not seen that. This is the Gamera map of Japan. So it shows you where all the movies take place and where Gamera does what, and the timeline. And should you be much smarter than me, I'd love to learn it, but there you go. You can get the exact same thing in Japanese. Hajimemashite. Arigato. I've been told my pronunciation's okay. I got that on one of my previous videos where I did quite a lot of Japanese pronunciation. Someone said it was very good. Unfortunately, I just don't speak the language. Apart from that, you know, I can pronounce it, I just can't speak it. So that's the Gamera complete collection now. Yeah. So this is essential stuff for kaiju fans. So if you like your Godzillas, and you like Mothra, and you like Ghidorah, and you like God, he's up there actually, Ultraman. So there's a wee kind of kaiju section there. Is that right? A lot there. If you like damaging, if you like any kind of kaiju, giant monstrous things, get Gamera. The only issue is Gamera the Brave isn't included, and I think that's, I know I said it's not the best, but one thing it does that's wonderful is it kind of takes E.T. as a premise. So it starts with a Gamera and that Gamera's death in 73, I think. And we see a young boy years later finding a stone or rock that has a little kind of shell on it, and that shell hatches and a little tiny turtle crawls out. I wonder who that turtle's going to grow into, and a new Gamera is born, but it has a relationship with the boy. Not that kind of relationship, get your minds out the gutter, but they have a bond, and that's how they explain the fact that Gamera has the relationship with children, because Gamera in all these movies, especially the 60s ones, has a special relationship with kids. He kind of knows what they're feeling. He's if not psychic, then empathic. He rescues kids. He knows when kids are in danger, you know, and obviously that was to appeal to a young Japanese market at the time, you know. Oh, I wish Gamera would rescue me, and you know, etc. But it's still kind of cool that in this they gave it a reason. You know, the boy literally raised Gamera in Gamera the Brave, and unfortunately that's the holdout from Arrow, and it remains exclusive to this box set. But I hate to flog a dead horse, although I do actually quite enjoy doing that in real life, just not metaphorically. The ones in green here are the Heisei Trilogy. Get them, just get them. If you like kaiju movies and you can handle the 90s production values, get them. So, because they still look great. You know, if you like Shin Godzilla and stuff, this is your jam. This is your jam. These ones in green. These ones up here, okay. If you like your classic kaiju, if you like Ultraman and you like those older Godzilla from the Showa era, yeah, get them. That one in the middle of the compilation, yeah, okay. It's funny seeing the Star Destroyer, and maybe with a few beers. Maybe save it till the end, and then you can have a kind of, you know, have a big marathon, and then you can look back, you know, sing memories. But yeah, so that was a kind of comprehensive box set look on Box Set Wednesdays. Still a terrible title, isn't it? And again, dedicated to poor old Jonathan. And this, by the way, is the cupboard. So it stretches way up to right down on the floor and right on there. And so we'll give you a quick, because we're under half an hour for a change, I'll give you a quick. I'll just lift the whole stand. Why not? So yeah, so there's the kaiju section. There's some Jerry Anderson hiding there. What have we got over here? I'm literally holding a whole stand here. So there's a little, you know, where Alec Guinness lives next to Creed. There's some Quatermass and Dad's Army. And what I'm doing now is I'm leaving gaps like that. You'll see that. It's because the amount of times I've filled a section and then went, oh great, and then another movie comes out and you go, oh, for God's sake, I've not left any gaps. So I'm learning from my mistakes after a million years. And again, it goes way up. So, you know, right over there. There's Doctor Who stuff, there's Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones, and Doctor Who stuff that still needs filed over there. Over here, rather embarrassing, there's a big slate of wood because I'm going to be building some stuff. Behind that is a big Sherlock Holmes and Buster Keaton, and there's David Lynch over here, and John Cassavetes, some Shakespeare, some Fritz Lang. Yeah, Burt Lancaster goes right along. Down there we've got more and more and more and more. And again, that goes all the way up. And you'll see at the very top, right around the very top there, is Hammer, Amicus, Universal, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Miscellaneous. Right around to there. So yeah, so plenty to pick from when we're doing our reviews. Oh, we're off centre here. Actually, no, let's just leave it. Everything else is off centre because of the gaps, but yeah. Oh, it's the Batman 66. Dutch angles. Whoa. Anyway, that was a look at Gamera, the complete collection, as I was calling it. Yes, indeed. Hooray for me! I remembered one thing for about 2 minutes. In fact, I will centre myself. That is God, I look like I'm going to do one of these. Just jump into somebody's photo. That is Gamera, the complete collection. And thumbnail there. And yeah. If you've got it, stick a comment in, tell me what you think. What's your favourite Gamera movie? What's your favourite kaiju? Why do you hate Gamera? What have you got against turtles, you son of a bitch? Next week is back to music, so yeah, if you don't like that, sorry, I'll see you in 2 weeks. But tune in on Sunday, because that's when we're going to start our regular review series. I don't know what we're going to cover yet. We're just going to pick old stuff. That's the idea, as you may have picked up from so it'll just be like, we're going to cover Frau Mond, Woman in the Moon by Fritz Lang. We're not actually going to cover Frau Mond. Well, it's one of the best looking silent movies you'll ever see in your life, but we might cover Frau Mond. That's for you to find out. And I better rewatch it if we are. But apart from that, thanks very much for your attention, as long as I haven't lost it. If I have, no point in thinking you've long gone. You have shot the crow ages ago. But most importantly, get well soon, Jonathan, and family. Love to you, Mila and Otis. Not Rosemary. So you can't censor men here. I have been David. Back in the closet. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What you like? So yeah, movie ones, once we tidy up, and I'm going to be doing more in here. Music ones over there. And if I talk about anything else, I might just stand outside in the rain. Yeah, again, any comments, suggestions, not those kind of suggestions. I know where to shove it. That's why I'm back in the closet. Yeah, I should probably start scripting these a bit, because the ad hoc stuff tends to be pretty out there. No, I can never be scripted. Pre-scripted, yes, I'm on plenty of prescriptions. Speaking of which, it's time for my brain medicine. So, thank you again. It's your third thanks of the day, so I'm very grateful. Questions, comments, hate, anger, aggression, stick them down there. Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Don't ring the bell. You ring the bell if you want, but you know, just come back every so often and I'll probably have something for you. You don't need to ring the bell. Ring the bell, please, it'll really help. I just want validation for my pathetic existence. I've been David. This has been Cinema Picks, and not so much music picks today. Although I could sing a Gamera song if you want, but that's a pretty bad song. Remember, most importantly, as the storm batters down again and restrictions lift, let's be careful out there. Very careful. Love and mercy, my dears. Love and mercy. And again, Johnny boy, happy birthday.